Hello students, how are you? I am Dr. S.K. Das from Regional Institute of Education, Bhubaneswar. Do you see something in my hand? Yes, so these are the toys in front of me. And with the help of these toys, we want to interact about an interesting chapter, motion of your class, which is there in your NCERT textbook. Before we initiate our interaction, I wanted to show you some video clips. Please see this video clip. So this is the video clip of a flooded river. Then I am showing one more video clip here. This is the video clip of the super cyclone of Odisha. I am showing another video clip. This is the video clip of tsunami that took place few years back in the South India part of our country, Chennai and Andaman Nicobar Islands. Well, with these video clips, I wanted to remind you a fact. See this fact, we are always endangered by the uncontrolled motion of a flooded river, cyclone and tsunami in our country. We know that everywhere we are facing such natural calamities in our country. So these are basically due to uncontrolled motion. On the other hand, we know that the controlled motion of river water from the dam is used for producing hydroelectric power. Please see this video clip. In this video clip, I am showing you the generation of hydroelectric power in Hirakud Dam. So with the help of these video clips, I wanted to give a critical thinking in your mind. See this clip on the top, it is mentioned uncontrolled motion. Then in the bottom, it is mentioned controlled motion. Now the girl is there in between uncontrolled and controlled motion. She is thinking, what happened in controlled motion so that we can transform it into controlled motion. After viewing this video clip, I wanted to know your feelings. What is your feelings? Should we not study how to transform or change such uncontrolled motion into controlled motion in order to solve the energy crisis of our country? So that we will be able to provide a great service to our nation. Well, if this is the fact, therefore, we have to first of all need to study this chapter motion in detail. I think you students will be agreeing with me about this idea. Well, if we study this chapter motion in detail, then what would be the today's learning point? So first of all, we will be having 4 learning points today. First one is about the rest and motion. Secondly, we will be studying about the rest and motion are relative. Then we will study about the types of motion. Before we start with the first learning point, I am just showing you these video clips. See, in this video clip, books are there on the tabletop nearby to a pen stand. And here you see the position of the books do not change with respect to the position of the pen stand. Please see one more picture. Here ants are crowded nearby to their hole in the ground. In this picture, the position of the crowded ants never change with respect to the position of their hole. You see one more picture here. See, what is this? This is a football. The position of the football do not change in front of the goalpost. So after viewing these pictures, what would be your observations? You will observe that the objects, what are the objects? Books, ants and footballs basically I mentioned. Objects such as books, ants, and football are at rest. Am I right, students? Okay. So then, in this place, the books, ants, and football are considered to be at rest. Then let us define the term rest. So if you define the term rest, what is rest? If the position of an object does not change with time with respect to a fixed reference point, or we can say that reference point is an observer, it is said to be at rest. I think you must have observed this particular kind of state of rest in your everyday life. Well, so in these particular examples, what are the reference points? In the above examples, the position of the pen stand in front of the books, ant hole in front of the crowded ants, and goalpost in front of the football are considered as fixed reference points. Well, students, do you agree with me? Okay. So first of all, you have to get an idea about the reference points. Then you can understand about the concept of rest. Well, after understanding the concept of reference points, then what would be our concluding remark? As the position of the objects such as books, ants, and football do not change with time with respect to their respective fixed reference points, the objects are at rest. So this is the concluding remark maybe from your observation. So in these examples, the position of the book do not change with respect to the position of the pen stand. The position of the ants are crowded, are not changing with respect to the position of their hole, and the position of the football do not change with respect to the position of the goalpost. That's why these reference points are there. Then if the position of the object do not change, then the objects are said to be at rest. So then we'll be discussing the other concept, that is motion. Please see these pictures. So in this picture, a row of ants are there. They are moving towards their hole on the ground. Please see one more picture. What you see in this picture? In this picture, our famous women athletes are running in the track. Who are they? They are Duti Chand and Hima Das. They are running in the track in front of the track referee. The position of Hima Das and Duti Chand are continuously changing with respect to the position of the track referee. See one more picture. Here, a football is kicked and the football is swinging inside the goalpost. That means the position of the football is continuously changing with time with respect to the position of the goalpost. Then you see one more picture. Here an aeroplane that is running on the runway in front of the light post. That means the position of the aeroplane is changing with respect to the position of the light post. Am I right, students? Well, so now you see one more picture. Here is a bus. The bus is approaching towards a passenger. The passenger is standing on the ground. The bus is moving towards the passenger. That means the position of the bus is changing with respect to the position of the fixed passenger. So what would be your observations out of these examples? Objects such as ants, women athletes, Duti Chand and Hima Das, football, aeroplane on the runway, bus are in motion. Now let us define the term motion. So if the position of an object changes with time with respect to a fixed reference point or observer, it is said to be in motion. Am I right, students? Well, so what are the reference points in these examples? The fixed reference points are the position of the ant hole in front of the ants moving towards the hole, then track referee in front of whom Duti Chand and Hima Das are running, light post in front of which the aeroplane is running on the runway, then the passenger on the road in front of which the bus is moving, These are considered to be the fixed reference points in these examples. So then, after understanding about the reference points and motion, what would be our concluding remark? At the position of the objects such as ants, women athletes, football, aeroplane, and the bus is changing with time with respect to their respective fixed reference points. These objects are in motion. Now you please make a distinction between the reference points in the state of motion and in the state of rest. So let us do an activity for understanding better about this concept, rest and motion. Let us do this activity. In this activity, we have used a toy car. That toy car is kept on a tabletop in static position nearby to a pen stand. Then we start moving the toy car with the help of the remote control, and the toy car is moving away from the pen stand. Now after doing this activity, what will be the findings of this activity? So the findings of the activity will be like this. Rest and motion are meaningless terms without the fixed reference points or observer. Do you admit with me, students? Yeah, if there is no reference point, so if you talk about rest, it is meaningless. If you talk about the motion, it is also meaningless. So therefore, rest and motion are meaningless terms without the fixed reference points. I explained fixed reference points whenever explained in rest condition of the object, and I have also explained about the reference points whenever I discussed the concept motion. So then I am switching over towards another picture. So see this picture. In this picture, a bus is moving towards a passenger who is standing on the ground. Inside the bus, a passenger A is sitting and the passenger B is standing on the ground. Now you see the passenger A is moving along with the bus towards the passenger B. Then what would be your observations from this example, from this video clip? You will be having the observations like this. A is in motion along with the bus. B is at rest on the ground. A appears to be in motion to B, and B appears to be at rest to A. So these are the observations after viewing the video clip. Now I am just showing one more animation. Here two friends A and B, they are sitting in a bus, and the bus is moving towards another friend C who is standing on the road. So in this animation, so what you will observe? Again you see friends A and B are in motion along with the bus because the bus is in motion. Inside the bus, the friends A and B are there. That's why the friends A and B are in motion along with the bus. The friend C, second point, I am coming to the second point. Friend C is at rest on the ground because the friend C is waiting for the bus and friend C is at rest on the ground. So A appears to be at rest to B because A is inside the bus, B is also inside the bus. So since both of them are inside the bus, both the friends are there inside the bus. So A appears to be at rest to B as well as B appears to be at rest to A. So in this way, both A and B appears to be at rest with respect to each other. Now what will be the next observations? A and B appears to be in motion to C because C is on the ground, C is in the state of rest, A and B are in the motion in the bus. That's why A and B appears to be in motion to C. Then finally C is in the ground, therefore C appears to be at rest to both A and B. So these are the observations from this example. Now what would be the concluding remark? Rest and motion are related terms but not absolute. So see this animation. Two trains are leaving from the platform of railway station at the same time on two separate parallel tracks with same speed in same direction. Two friends, A and B, are looking each other from the window of the train. Now, the train started. So, what would be the observations of you students whenever you have a kind of experience in your everyday life? A will observe that B is at rest, and B will also observe that A is at rest. When they look each other without looking outside, the condition is they should not look outside. So they will think that as if the train has not yet been started. Am I right, students? You must have this type of feeling. So then, when they look outside through the window, so both of them will observe that they are in motion along with the train. They are not at rest, but they are in motion along with the train. So this is a very, very common example with all of us. So whenever we are waiting for the train and we sit in two trains in the railway platform, when both the trains started at the same time in the same direction, and we are getting this type of feeling. So from this, we understand that rest and motion are not absolute terms, but they are relative to each other. Let us move towards the third learning point. The third learning point about the types of motion. Basically, we know that we have the common experience, of course. We know that there are four types of motion. What are those? First one is linear motion. The second one is the circulatory or circular motion. The third is rotatory or rotational motion. And the fourth type of motion is oscillatory or vibrational motion. So then, let us discuss the first type of motion, that is linear motion. So before we start discussion on linear motion, please see these examples. So here is the motion of a train on a straight railway track. The train is in motion in a straight railway track. Then you see one more picture. This is the picture of an aeroplane which is running on the runway in the straight path before takeoff. Then what would be observations out of these two examples? Both the train and aeroplane moves on a straight line path or linear path. The train and aeroplane are said to be in linear motion because both the train and aeroplane moves on a straight linear path. That's why the train and aeroplane are said to be in linear motion. Well, students, let us discuss about linear motion. Let us define linear motion. So if an object moves in a straight line, then the motion of the object is known as linear motion. So we have many examples of linear motion which we discussed just now. Then we'll see one more picture for discussing the circular motion. Here a satellite is revolving around the earth in a circular orbit. So in this picture, you see the satellite is revolving around the earth in a circular orbit. That's why this is an example of circular motion. So let us define the term circular motion. If an object moves in a circular path, then the motion of the object is known as circular motion. Well, so please see one more picture. Here is the picture of the rotational motion of earth around its own axis. Students, here I want to ask you a question. We have day and night every day, 12 hours day, 12 hours night. Do you know the reason behind it? It is the rotational motion of the earth about its own axis. So this is an example of rotational motion. Let us define the term rotational motion. If an object rotates about a fixed axis, then the motion of the object is known as rotational motion. Well, you see this picture. This is the picture of back and forth motion of a pendulum clock. Of course, nowadays we are familiar with the digital clocks. So in earlier days, we must have pendulum clock. Our forefather and father must have been using this pendulum. So back and forth motion of a pendulum clock. This is an example of the vibrational motion. So let us define the term vibrational motion. If an object vibrates or oscillates in back and forth motion, then it is called as oscillatory or vibrational motion. Well, students, you understood about the types of motion. Here I am giving you the activities in the form of videos. There are so many video clips. So in these video clips, you identify the motion from the following activities. See, the first video clip shows a ball is in motion in a straight track. In the second video clip, I have shown that a ball is in motion in straight as well as circular track. Then a ball is falling freely under the action of gravity. Then a toy train is revolving around a circular track. Then there is a vibration of a loaded scale. Then there is rotation of the tabletop. And all these activities are in front of you. Now I am giving you the task and to identify the type of motion involved in these activities. Well, students, after performing these activities, so let us discuss what we have learned today. First, we have learned that an object is said to be at rest if it does not change its position as time passes with reference to a fixed observer. Then, an object is said to be in motion if it changes its position as time passes with reference to fixed observer. Then, we have learned that rest and motion are relative. Then, we have learned that if an object moves in a straight line path, then it is said to be in linear motion. Then, if an object moves in a circular path, then it is said to be in circular motion. Then, we have learned that if an object rotates in a fixed axis, then it is said to be in rotational motion. Then, if an object vibrates in a back and forth motion, then it is said to be in vibrational motion. So, till we have learnt these learning points today, and we will discuss the other learning points of this chapter, motion, in the next class. I hope you have enjoyed the class. Thank you. Thank you so much.